How much does a cheap car really cost? You always hear that the most expensive cars that you can own are the ones that are free. So when you pay $1,000, let's find out. Man, I am sweating and burning. This car has 240,000 miles. As you can see, it needs a little help. There is absolutely nothing on it that isn't dirty, faded, or broken. The good news is that since I was able to get this car for so cheap, I have a bit of a budget left over. So that gives me an idea. Is it worth finding the lowest deal possible when you could just pay the extra that it would cost you anyways to just buy a cleaner car? Is it worth all the work? Do I really know how to work on cars to this extent? Or do I just like the idea of working on cars? I don't know shit about working on cars. The extent of my car knowledge to this point is suspension, oil changes, and a little bit of body work on my truck. That's it. So when it comes to something that needs this level of attention, so clearly something is leaking, like down the whole car. The whole middle of the car is like wet. So that's our engine code. I don't know what the f that was. Okay, so something was just shorting out. That's not cool. I already love this. I already love this project. Oh, this is so fun. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little intimidated. The overarching theme of this video series that I want to make, documenting my progress here, is what have I gotten myself into? And where does it stop? I want to know exactly how much it's going to take to get this car not only back on the road, but also to fix everything that I could find wrong with it. To kick it all off, I've made a list of every single thing that I could find wrong with this car currently. Starting with the front bumper. The paint is faded, the grille is missing some clips, the bodywork is chipped and cracked. Moving up to the hood, it is covered in either concrete or bird poop, could be both. There's some dents on the driver's side here, paint's faded again. Down to the fender here, we've got a big dent. There's paint splatters all over it, swirls and scratches, actually not too bad. Onto the driver door, still not very bad. We got a little tiny dent right here. Paint's faded on the mirror. Yeah, actually this is pretty bad. So the exterior door handle doesn't work. The window trim is missing like a coating that it was supposed to have, and now it's really rusty underneath. The frame rail underneath is smashed. Onto the rear left quarter panel. There's some small dents all over the place. There's paint scratches and chips. There's a big scuff right next to the taillight, and there's a little bit of rust on that corner right above where the taillight goes. Not too bad. Over to the trunk, there's what I've learned is called a Frankenstein bolt. I think that's for the hard top. One of them is pretty loose. The paint is obviously faded down to bare metal in some spots. And again, it's covered in, we're gonna say concrete or bird poop or both. There's an aftermarket antenna mount right here. So there's obviously been a hole drilled through the trunk at some point. See if we can take that out, patch that up. And the key doesn't work very well in the truck, which is another thing I should point out. The key doesn't work anywhere on this car. None of the keys work properly on this car. That includes the ignition. I don't know how I'm going to get that to turn. You can't even turn the ignition. Down to the rear bumper, there's a big hole in the rear, what do you call it? The piece between the taillights. Somebody put their knee through it while we were trying to load it up onto a trailer. Not a big deal. I'm not worried about it. I was going to swap this piece out anyway. It's totally blown out under the license plate too. So again, not that bad. The paint is faded. It's going to be faded over the whole car. I don't even know why I listed this for each item. Well, again, moving on to the rear right quarter panel, the biggest problem that this car has, in my opinion, as far as bodywork is concerned. Quite the dent, blemish, whatever you want to call it, because when you open it, and you got to open it from the inside because none of the door handles work. But when you jam here, there is a large hole that was just blown into this door jamb. I don't know what this is from. Looks like somebody got back behind there and was trying to pull this dent out. I have no idea. So this is going to be something that I'm going to have to learn later. I know they make like patch panels and stuff, but I don't know how to weld. So that's going to be a challenge. Moving on to the door, clearly something hit the car right here because the door has the same sort of dent. The door handle is falling out and doesn't work. The mirror has faded paint and missing trim, and the window trim is missing its coating and it's all rusty and blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. This whole car is going to take a lot of redoing. So moving on to the front quarter panel, there's another really big dent right here. I'm actually pretty confident that I'll be able to either beat that out. Worst case, I just replace this panel. Got a big scuff right here. Other than that, it actually doesn't look too bad, so I'd love to just see if I can knock that out. Moving on to the windshield, the wipers are, I wrote down toasty. The paint is chipped with more poop stains up here. There's a big dent right here. It's like a branch fell and hit here and on the hood and on the fender right there. Because this all looks like it's kind of in line with each other. Oh, soft top I wrote down, completely fucked. Moving on to the interior. The steering wheel is peeling, the dash is cracked, it's coated in dust, both seats are torn and don't move at all the plastic is brittle and faded, the turn signals don't work, the hazard lights don't work, the speedometer doesn't work, the shifter leans to the left, the center console lid is cracked, the floors are covered in garbage and dirt, the seat belts are faded, the seat belt buckles don't want to release the seat belts, the radio is missing and broken, the window crank is missing a handle on the driver's side, the windows don't want to roll very easily, the door locks are jammed up, speakers are blown out, armrests are faded and peeled, the soft top buckles are corroded, the door buzzer doesn't work. There's a weird bracket in the passenger footwell. There was something else I forgot to write down on this. Moving on to the engine bay, the hood prop wants to fall off at the base of it. There's something leaking, clearly. There's a little bit of rust on the subframe, there's a little bit of rust on the radiator. The dipstick handle is missing. There's a weird wire coming over the engine. I think it's for the O2 sensor, is what it looks like to me. And the trunk is full of nails and concrete dust. The battery mount is missing, so the battery's just sliding around in there. There's rust near the, oh yeah, I forgot about that. There's a lot of rust near the rear right shock tower on the trunk floor. I was tapping around in there. It still feels pretty solid. My initial reaction is that that is the result of something failing with the soft top. I'm hoping that's all the rust that I find, to be honest with you. I know it's a 30-year-old car, but I can handle that. I can handle a little bit of rust. I don't want to have to handle a lot of rust. For $1,000, how much can I really complain? It's a gamble. What else? Oh, the spare tire is rusty and the tire itself is probably 30 years old. The jack is, I took it out, it's not in good shape. And the carpet's disgusting. It's disgusting. The whole car is disgusting. That's it. I mean, of course, there's kind of a bigger problem overall, and that's the car doesn't start. Yeah, paperwork. So while I wait for parts to get it running, let's clean this thing up. Start fixing some issues cosmetically. I actually already hopped back on Marketplace and started picking up some parts to swap out. Starting with the seats. They're bad. They were covered with a barbecue cover for the seat covers for the backs. And then when I took that off, they were held together with tie wire. He was a concrete mason. He used tie wire for everything. The back window was held up with tie wire. The seats were held together with tie wire. I'm pretty sure the battery was held in with tie wire. And all the structural parts of the seats are rusted to hell. I scored these seats for 180 bucks for the pair. Now they have a couple of little tiny things here and there, but all things considered, these are in great shape for how old they are from an original car. And they found out that this was my first Miata ever. So they were kind enough to hook me up with all kinds of stuff. I guess that's another thing I'll get into is the community with the car that you pick. You probably can't go wrong. I mean, things like Miatas, there's a whole culture around Miatas. All the people that I've met so far have been extremely awesome and friendly. And so they looked at me and they said, hey, you need anything else? So I kind of started listing through the things that I knew that I needed right off the bat. And they hooked me up with new gauge cluster, car cover, taillights, a spoiler, new door sills, brake pads, radiator hoses for a 1.8, just in case they worked with the 1.6. He didn't want them anymore. I'll give them a shot. I don't think they'll work, but that's okay. Maybe I'll swap this to a 1.8 at some point. Anyway, okay, so while I have the seats out, it's a perfect time to start cleaning up the interior and the old carpet. Good news! We found it. We found something. Oh, I'm gonna break this key. Like something sounded like it was shorting out up here. I don't know what that's about.